What is going on, guys? Welcome to another very exciting episode right here on the MIgardener channel. In today's episode, we're going to talk about a very important topic about not puff passing around your tomato plants. Let's go. So believe it or not, your tomato plants can actually get a form of secondhand smoke that you don't want to be passing onto your plants, because if your plants get it, it can spread and be very detrimental to their health and often decrease yields, if not kill your plants. And this is not known as lung cancer, but tobacco mosaic virus. All right, so what is tobacco mosaic virus? Well, tobacco mosaic virus, otherwise known as TMV, is a virus that affects Solanense or nightshade family crops. So tomatoes, peppers, eggplants, potatoes, any nightshade family crop is susceptible to tobacco mosaic virus. Now, they don't just magically get it. They get it through a host plant. And what is the host plant? The tobacco plant. So technically, you could be growing a tobacco plant right next to your tomato plants without any problem at all. But if the tobacco plant contracts tobacco mosaic virus, that is the host that can then transmit that to the tomato plant. So what basically you need to do is you need to make sure that anytime you're touching any form of tobacco, that could be cigarettes, that could be just raw tobacco leaves, any time where you can have unburnt tobacco leaves or tobacco material touching your hands, you need to make sure you wash your hands very thoroughly before playing in the garden, because what can happen is by simply even touching the outside, the wrapper of a cigarette, you can have enough tobacco particles that then when you touch your plants, is enough to contract tobacco mosaic virus. The tobacco mosaic virus gets in the stomata of the tomato leaf. And once it gets into the stomata, it actually will affect the overall plant. It becomes systemic. You'll notice the leaves will get really mottled. It'll turn very yellow, very green, very mosaic-y. That's where it gets its name. It'll stunt the plant. It'll stop flowering. And any fruit that forms will actually form prematurely. It'll be very pithy and very hard. And so essentially that plant will be, you can't even grow it. It'll be deemed dead, basically. Even though it'll stay alive for the duration of its life, it won't be able to photosynthesize properly, it won't be able to grow properly, it'll be very stunted and basically worth just pulling out. Now, will it spread to other plants? The answer is no, it will not. The only reason why you'd get it is if you had a tobacco plant that contracted tobacco mosaic virus in close proximity to a lot of other plants. That's the only way that multiple tomato plants are going to get it. Or if you happen to touch multiple plants, right? If you're just touching one, that plant that gets it will be the only one affected. However, how often do you just touch one tomato plant? You're probably going to be touching a bunch of tomato plants, or if you're pruning, doing maintenance, you're going to be touching a bunch of them. That's how multiple plants can get it. And that's what gives people the idea that it can spread. It can spread via your hands, not from plant to plant. So what happens when one plant gets it and the others don't? You simply rip out the one that gets it, and it's highly recommended that you burn it. Now, not that the tomato plant can spread from plant to plant, but that once the tomato plant becomes decomposed or composted, sometimes that tobacco mosaic virus can survive in the soil and can affect other plants in future years. So it really is just about kind of cutting off any tobacco mosaic virus at all and preventing it from spawning in the future. So when it comes to growing tomatoes, I know that we all have our vices, but this is one that I definitely would recommend keeping out of the garden. Now, a lot of people ask, well, if tobacco is bad, well, what about other things in the garden, right? Like, what about nicotine? Can nicotine have any effect on tomato plants? In fact, can. Nicotine has actually been found to depress plant growth. It's actually a hormone that will actually stunt plant growth. So a lot of times, the smoke necessarily will not transmit tobacco mosaic virus, but the nicotine itself can actually, because it's a tar, has the ability to coat the undersides of the leaves and actually prevent the plant from respiring properly. And so scientists have found that in the presence of nicotine, it can actually depress plant growth by up to 50%. So I guess the general rule of thumb is, regardless if you are a smoker or just someone who is around smoke a lot, smoking in the garden is something that really should be prevented if at all possible. Not only is it not good for your health, and I'm not going to tell you, I'm not going to get on my high horse about what you should and shouldn't be doing with your life, but I can safely say if you want to have a successful garden, smoking and any type of cigarette product, any type of tobacco product should be kept far away from your garden. And so with that, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you all learned something new. If you did, make sure to hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. And You know, if anything, share this with a friend that might, that might benefit from this video. I really always appreciate when people share these videos with their friends, because it's a high honor to have our videos helping out someone's garden. So I hope you guys enjoyed. And as always, this is Luke from the MIgardener channel, reminding you to grow bigger. Take care. Bye.